Sunderland against Newcastle. So in itself, yeah, that's mouth-watering. But then that extra bit of spice has been provided to it because Sunderland, would you believe it, had to issue an apology after a fan backlash last night forced the club into an embarrassing U-turn and take down the Newcastle United signs that had been put up inside the Stadium of Light before this weekend's FA Cup tie. It's the first time we're Derby in 7 years. Newcastle have been given 6,000 tickets, but 750 of those are for the Black Cats Bar, a corporate hospitality area inside the stadium. The signs read, "Keep the black and white flying high. We are united," and "Away the lads," in the Tyneside spelling. I mean, you couldn't make it up, Simon. What on earth has happened here? The man at the top of the club, the young gentleman who runs Sunderland, himself came out and said, sorry, this really was unacceptable. Kirill Louis Dreyfus, who we tried just before we came on air, but Kirill decided not to pick up. Maybe it's because he can't. We don't know. But he says, I take full responsibility for every decision that is taken by the employees of our club. And you have my word that I will personally make sure we make the necessary changes required to improve. Yeah. I mean, it's an own goal and it's red faces all round. But is it any more than that?
Not really. But given the context of this game, and given the microcosm of a game between Sunderland and Newcastle, which hasn't happened for a long time, the rivalry between these two clubs is immense. So why in God's name would anybody within the confines of Sunderland, I mean, he's gone stronger than this, the young owner of Sunderland, said he's disgusted by it. So that means there's probably someone's head's going to roll. But I can't imagine why anybody would be thinking that was acceptable. I can't imagine, going back in my little world, to allowing Millwall or Brighton, any of our major rivals that we consider to be rivals, or any London football club, if it was Arsenal, if it was Tottenham coming down.
Oh, it's not a sackable offence.
Somebody internally must have, Simon, someone internally must have got permission to actually carry out those
Well, you
works.
wonder who would have given that permission and at what level that permission was granted, because clearly the owner doesn't know much about it, and I'm suspecting that the chief executive must have half a brain and think that isn't appropriate. You know, it's one thing making your opposition feeling moderately welcome, and even I was not particularly keen on that. But it's another thing sort of laying down and saying, oh, we're the poor relations, come and potentially desecrate our stadium with your nonsense. It's the last thing I would imagine.
Do you think it's a sackable offence?
Well, I don't think it's a rewardable offence. I don't think you should be rewarded for that thinking. I think the person that's allowed that and the commercial team that's allowed that to happen and engaged with Newcastle said, make yourselves at home, needs to be had a word in his show like.
Have you seen the pictures? It almost looks like graffiti, doesn't it? The way that it's done. It's very amateurish.
Well, it's just
it's not an internal Newcastle fan amongst the Sunderland fans, is it?
No, I think it's they have to get access for a start, and ultimately whoever's allowed it has allowed it, and people have not seen it. It's been put up and there's been facilitated.
Can you imagine them doing this at the Emirates for Spurs coming to
well, exactly.
Apparently, the Newcastle fans have known about this since mid-December that this was going to happen.
Well, again, I mean that makes it even more perplexing. It makes it even more unfathomable because, I mean, it's one thing with having a moderately warm welcome. And you know, again, I wasn't particularly big on that. It's another thing allowing somebody to come in your stadium and personalise it. The hell are you thinking about? Why would you want to do it? And on what grounds would you think it has anything to do with reflecting the sentiments of a huge rivalry? You're not the runt of the litter. You might be in the Championship currently. Newcastle aren't the all singing, all dancing reflection of the North East. You're a proud football club. Why would you allow this? It is a storm in a teacup. But why put yourself in the way of this?
I know you would come at it from that point of view, Simon, that you're made to feel that you are there making up the numbers. It's Sunderland are there making up the numbers.
Well, it looks like it, doesn't it?
You're the host team.
Exactly.
And you've put yourself in this position. Sunderland fans, what do you think about this? Newcastle fans are having a laugh up your sleeves this morning at it. 03717 223344. Not only that, Martin, Sunderland have been fined, reportedly, for a misprint on the ticket for the weekend. Sunderland reportedly fined for printing League One on this weekend's FA Cup ticket. I mean, they've had a howler all round going into this. What they need to do now is go out and beat Newcastle.
They do, but
and then all will be forgiven.
I'm hoping for an outstanding game, a bumper crowd. They've been getting 41, 42,000 for home matches. I think the capacity there is 48,000.
They're not
It's
bad,
truly
you know.
remarkable.
They're not
isn't
bad, Sunderland.
There are 6 in the table.
They're not bad.
You saw them play
Yeah.
against Hull, didn't you?
I did.
A good win.
And I was impressed with Sunderland's front three with Joe Bellingham, and they got a left winger that scored the goal for them
Jack
that won
Clark.
the game. It wasn't him. I think it was another kid. But I was impressed with the setup and how structured and thoughtful they were, because they just shut Hull down. Hull didn't look like scoring for the entire
Yeah,
game.
yeah. I saw
It's a
them at Millwall, and they came
banana
back
skin,
into
isn't
it at the end.
for Newcastle when you
Well,
see the form that they're in.
Well, it's
right
not. It's not the kind of game I suspect that Eddie Howe really wants to have to deal with, given the fact there's noise beginning to brew. There's people beginning to suggest that the manager of the table-topping La Liga side, Girona, is potentially on Newcastle owners' list of things to do. Sanchez is, because he's doing such a remarkable job at that club. All of a sudden, they're looking in that direction. It's a game that Newcastle should go and win. Let's have it right.
That's right.
There
But
should be a golfing
notwithstanding it-
class, though, shouldn't they?
Well, there should be.
We
There
look
should
at,
be.
And we look. I mean, these are only 6 in the Championship. When you look at the teams that have come up, Burnley, Sheffield United, Luton this year, and what are we got? 12 wins between them. So I think they got 9 Newcastle. So Newcastle should be far too good.
You would think.
But let's see.
Yeah, you would think. I mean, how do you feel, Sunderland fans, going into this then? At your own place, after what happened regarding what happened with the Newcastle signage inside the club. I mean, are you over it now? Can you sit back and have a laugh at it? Or do you still want somebody's head to roll for it? Newcastle fans, are you having a laugh up your own sleeve?
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.